like old school.
Well, you mean does Philip Glass do a kind of melody, is what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I actually like more the work of Stockhausen.
Right.
Much more complex, or the French concrete music.
Yeah, I would say
they're
developing textures. They're into textural changes, harmonic climates.
Yes, I mean, you don't have harmonies and melodies and like normal rhythmic sequences.
Yeah.
It's much more complex. But I think this type of music is interesting to people that make this type of music.
Yes. All right.
For people that is not into that, it's just noise.
Well, Frank could make it a Finney's way because he could do all kinds of music. If you're a bit limited in your musical technique, you'll go with a one style and see if you can get away with it. Frank could do any style, any kind of music. So what we're going to do now is to do the Ben Watson article. So you probably don't have it, Bert?
Yes, I have my...
Yeah,
okay.
But Bert, where's Bert? Did he get knocked off?
No, I don't have it. No, I do not. I don't have it, Bob.
Okay, I'm going to put it in the chat line so you can get it. Okay. So here comes a copy and paste. I know how to do that. Go over to the green thing and stick it in there, and then it says post chat. So there it is under Bob Neverett, radicalphilosophy.com. There are people talking away here. With Sarah, but that's that. You got it, Bert?
I got it.
While we're waiting, let's just see what Corbin has to say. Corbin, do you have something to say at this point?
Hello.
Yeah, don't be silly. What do you say?
I would have to say that to spew forth in a vomital way is a beautiful thing.
You said to steal forth.
To spew forth in a vomital way is a wonderful thing.
Sometimes, yes. Not all the time.
It could be not liquid. It could be just verbal lingo. Like I love in that part, Lost Highway, where he does his best performance there, where he says, "We're having two conversations. Here, let me use your phone." He goes, "You got some pretty weird friends here tonight, Bob. You know."
Who? You mean me, or which movie is that in?
Blair, Tony, no, not Tony Blair. Robert. What the hell is the guy's name?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Blake.
Yeah, Robert Blake. Yes, there you go. He says you have some strange friends, man. You have some strange friends, man.
Yeah, they say strange phones, but you're changing it to fit our environment here.
No, I'm not.
You're saying we have some strange... He says you have some strange phones? He doesn't say that in the movie.
He says you have some strange friends. Or some fucked up friends, I think, is that the actual adjective.
Yeah, that's Robert Blake talking about the people at the party, right?
Right. Now, let me ask you this question, please.
Wait a minute. I want to respond to the Robert Blake thing first. Listen to this. So Blake is a guy who can be at two places at the same time. So he's like a parallel world or a bilocator, and that freaks out the character he is saying to, your friends are weird. But Robert Blake is weirder than all of them. Yeah, your next point.
Oh, the next point.
I knocked it out of your head, right?
Right on the edge of it, you screwed me up, man.
Yeah.
Come back to me in a little bit, man.
Yeah, you gotta be on duty here, man. You gotta know what you're doing here.
I'm on duty. I'm on duty. I'm on duty. You're on duty.
Okay, I want to give you an example. This might inspire. I'll give you an example of spewing. Okay? You ready?
Sure.
This is spewing. Get what I'm saying, Bill?
You're talking about convergence, harmonics, application, creation through sightedness, through non-sightedness, rods and cones, and how it affects the thalamus and the thalamus. They're two different things, apparently, and how it affects the adrenals within the lipids, and how it changes the cells from a frequency to make it more metallic, if that's the better way to say it. But yet you have iron poor blood, and that's why you have to take Geritol, and you need lysine to make an amino acid. And the amino acid, then you need some protein, and you got to change it through your lipids, and then all of a sudden the fat that you got to get rid of is good, and then the sugar that you say was bad is good, and then the corn liquor's got sugar in it, and it's good, that they say is bad, which is good, and the next thing you know, your liver starts eating sugar, and then it gets super sugar, and then it kind of changes, and then your whole gut changes, and then you grow back the damn gallbladder that they took out of Momo, and here she is laying in the stone cold grave growing a new gallbladder. It's pretty amazing as you kind of go. And then they'll start. And then on that resurrection morning, when all the dead in Christ shall rise, you'll have a new body. You'll have a new life. Souls all bursting, graves are shouting, ready to live in paradise. You'll have a new body. It's pretty good. And it's already started. It's happening.
Now, listen to that. Iron finally gave the chain reaction of ascension, the chemical chain process of ascension.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was awesome. Awesome.
Right, now, is that spewing? Did he spew?
Spewage forth, or spewage backeth, or spewage sideway, or spewage the other sideway.
Yeah. Well, that's. I'm glad you appreciate. That's a good example of spewage. Yes, iron can do it very well. And there it was. Are you with us, Bert and Roxy? Did you like that spewage?
Yes. Yes.
It's pretty good. Have you heard that before, Roxy? I don't think you have. Uh-oh. Have we reached the 4-hour mark? Yes, we have. Been on here for 4 hours, so that means you might have got disconnected. Let's play something else. What can we do?
Play Monopoly.
Monopoly? No.
Yeah.
I'm muting you. Okay, so I'm going to mute Bert as we play something. Yeah, just have a quiet thing for, what could I play? And the very last line, it says, "We are now on the fringe of a Jimmy Carl Black." And then Jimmy Carl Black comes in and does a country song. But did you hear that? He's announcing, talk about trying to make people aware of the process. The previous piece ends announcing what's coming up next. Kind of cute to me. Isn't that sort of funny, Bert? Wouldn't you say that's, Bert? That's funny? What do you think, Bert?
Yes, because it has really sophisticated parts. Like he's doing microtonality and very weird intonations. The instruments are not tuned like usually.
Right.
So you have this type of
it is awesome.
sound.
And it all makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because I've heard it so many times, but it's very pleasant listening to the shifts he makes.
Yes, it's not just like noise, chaos. It's really composed. It's really complex.
Yeah, and it looks like Bert.
It's locked in the ether.
Right. Is this? I don't know. Is this you, Bert?
Yeah, Bob, you put me on mute before you play the music. I've been here the whole time.
Oh, see, I don't even remember. I get so involved in what I'm doing that I forgot. Where's Bert? Oh, you muted him, Bob. I did? Yeah. I've learned
was
from
a nice
Ion.
arrangement cut.
Yeah, wasn't that
Was
well
a nice
done?
arrangement cut. Yes,
Yep.
yes.
It-
Theater
lot
music
of-
sound like, very theatrical and very precise. Very precise.
Yeah. And then odd thrown in. But the ultimate thing is, Beethoven never said, "We are now on the edge of Opus 43." That's so funny. You get what he did, Bert? He said, "We're now on the edge of on the fringe of a Jimmy Carl Black." And, Jimmy Carl Black is the featured singer in it. Yeah, but he's calling the piece a Jimmy Carl Black.
Yeah, but fringe could refer to his Indianness, too.
Yep, that could count. Excellent contribution there by Dr. Dean. We want every thought uttered. So,
Bob, you say the next,
it's a
next tune is country.
like
He sings the
Fringe
country music.
episode.
So just a minute. Okay, Bert, what were you saying?
The next song, you say that then he goes into a country music song right after that?
Yes, and Frank never liked country music, but he lets Jimmy Carl Black sing it. And you were saying, Roxy, what was your point?
It's a real Fringe episode.
A Fringe episode. Oh, yes.
Because we're on the fringe.
Yeah, we're on the fringe of a Jimmy Carl Black. Let's ask Corbin. Corbin, what's the name of the song that Jimmy Carl Black does in 200 Motels? Where's my waitress?
Lonesome cowboy bird.
Oh, yeah.
Waking at you. Come smell my friends, they should. Reeking at you. My cowboy pants. My bow-legged hands. My feeling veins on air. He's lonesome cowboy bird. And don't you get his feelings. And I'll do with face, and you can dye my face, and you can sit on my face. Where's my waitress? Oh, you hot little bitch!
He got it all memorized. That's excellent, Corbin. See, I knew. I'm like Zappa. I know my players. I know who to bring in. I gave him a cue, and he comes in, and it's all about Bert. It's about you, Bert. So I'll play it.
Oh, okay.
You'll see Corbin was very close to it. Let's see. We have to make sure all the buttons are on, right? Got to go up to Soundflower. What is it? Soundflower and sound. Okay. Over to Soundflower. Make sure there's no muting on the Skype. Skype is open. Make sure the volume is up. See, it's down. Bring it up. And is there one other thing I'm missing? I don't think so. All right, here it is. This is Corbin's. What did Corbin do? He prefigured it.
Introduction.
What is it, Roxy?
He introduced the team.
But I think there's a technical.
No, he did a cover.
It's the opposite of coda.
Cowboy
first.
He did a cover, yes, but there's a way you anticipate in musical terms something sort of gives you a little taste of it before it's not a coda. It's the opposite of coda.
An hors d'oeuvre.
No, you got that, Roxy? What's the musical term for a prefiguring? An overture?
Yes.
Okay, let's go for overture. Corbin did the overture. I will now mute Corbin because he'll definitely drop
Now
something.
you do the coda.
Now we'll do the cover?
The coda.
The coda. And so we make sure I'm muting Corbin because he'll probably drop something in the middle of this. I'm even going to mute Bert and remind me, Bert, that you got muted, or somebody remind me, so we will bring him back.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't hear Bert laugh. You still there, Bert?
Yes.
You're still there. Okay. All right, so we're going to hear the song. And there's several versions. I have a 1971, it's from 200 Motels, Disc 1. And then there's a Wade, 1988. The best band you ever heard, there's a version. So here's the early one. Sorry, I came in saying, we're on the fringe of a Ben Watson review. We should start using that. So, Bert, that's you. That's you working stiff. And you can't
working
hurt
in the dirt.
I like that where the redneck, you can't hurt his feelings. He's not going to take that kindly. Working stiffs or redneck people who are not intellectual don't have a detachment. They react violently to if you hurt their feelings, right? You got to watch it. They're like a snake. They lash out and bite you. The key point about working, well, what do you call them? People who are what Gurdjieff would describe as physical, instinctual, and have their movement center. They don't have an emotional or intellectual center developed. Right, Carol? They're the kind of people you can't hurt their feelings.
What do you mean, can't or can?
You cannot hurt their feelings. They will lash out at you. They're very sensitive on the feeling level.
Well, no, you're saying it wrong. You do hurt their feelings.
No, if you hurt their feelings, they can't take it. They'll get violent.
Right.
They don't relax on it.
Right.
They take it personally. They have weak emotional centers.
Right.
They haven't got strength there.
Right.
And you people follow my thinking here?
Now we do that you said it right.
Are you with us, Bert and Roxy and Corbin?
Yes, but I think it's
fix your mic. You're fucking way down the well. Way down there. Really. Fix your mic really good.
Fix your energy level.
Yeah, maybe I have to fucking call you back.
About emotions. It's the electronic.
No, it's too low. And you can't fix it, right?
The electronic environment taking over and people losing their identities, and they're trying to keep this redneck cowboy identity alive, and they're just violent, and they don't know
that's a good
why.
Point.
They just try to keep this identity.
That's a good point. That it's. I'm saying they got weak emotions, but they have weak identities, or they're fragile about it. And if you hurt their identity, which would be emotional, they get violent. That's right. They're not cool. You know, look at how much I get insulted from Carolyn, from you guys, from Ion, and you don't see me lose my cool, right? I don't have an identity, so I don't have an identity crisis. But the average little Joe, little man, has a stupid fucking identity that he must preserve. So I welcome your contribution there, Roxy, at this point. That was a very good overall turn.
This thing with having guns or not having guns.
You were really clear with your mic. Can you imagine people listening to this? I have to keep interrupting. We produce the most horrible Zappa commentary, technically, that anybody's ever heard. And we make millions of hours of it. So no stylish spot. What is it?
Yes, but it's like some cultures have been isolated, but this environment is there, and then they just are part of this Western culture, and there's a lot of violence.
Yeah.
It's like
they just freaked out. They just. Are you there, Bert? Bert get knocked off again.
You muted him.
Oh, jeez, I generally forgot. That is incredible. You know how fucked up I am? I told you that I would forget. And I forgot.
You did.
I forgot. Jesus, stupid.
Oh yeah.
I'm glad I'm an intellectual. I can cover up my stupidity. I'm very good at coming up with alibis and hide the fact that I'm stupid.
Bob, I believe that's the first and only country music song I've ever heard that had horns in it.
That's a good point, Bert. Very good. It's all about you. Your sensitive self before you get ionized. You're probably beating people up all the time, right? You have one identity crisis after another. Look, you took fucking judo. You took karate. You were prepared to beat yourself through any crowd, right?
No, that was after I beat up on people, Bob, actually.
So you're admitting? I didn't know you did that, Bert. You actually beat up on people? Were you a toughie?
Yeah, well, a few. But they
Were
needed
you a
it.
juvenile delinquent?
No,
They
I was on the fringe.
Yeah, Bert channeled his violence into sports. If he didn't have sports, he would have been in jail by now. Right, Bert?
Yeah, I would say that. Yes, I would.
Yeah, now this,
I cannot.
you just said another sentence there. You said
I've
beat
done
him
a
up.
few. I would be in jail if I didn't have sports. I would have.
Now, why is that?
Don't like don't push me.
Yeah.
I'm loose, bro. What was the song?
Short fuse, Bob.
Yeah, why would you? Do you have a reason why you did have a short fuse when you were young?
Just real sensitive. I could feel the meaning behind the words.
Well, so therefore you had an identity crisis. You felt your identity was threatened all the time.
Oh, yes.
What is
I could say that.
People... well, whatever. I'm falling asleep. I have to wake up.
Well, stand up, walk around, fix your mic, yell, talk loud.
Yes.
Yeah. Stop falling asleep, man. We haven't even got to where we're going, to the Ben Watson. Yeah, we haven't even started. So Bert, can you analyze what were you upset about?
Open your head.
What?
That's the title of Watson article.
Open your head. So Bert, is it because you were up against a white culture or something?
No, I mean, I wouldn't say a white culture. I was in between because I'm of mixed race origin. So you didn't fit in wherever you went.
Right. So that made you more vulnerable to being teased or insulted.
Yeah,
that
teased, and then yes, and then my fuse was really short, and there were times where I snapped appropriately.
Right. Now, what sport were you in? Football? Basketball?
I played all sports. I played all sports, but then I focused on football in college.
And you guys, now, did you bash opponents? Did you take advantage of bap them on the head?
Yes. Well,
yeah.
No, I was good with elbows. I was really good with my elbows in football.
How tall are you?
5'10".
Oh, okay, so you're not big, but you're good enough size to put a whack on somebody to move them. And what position did you play?
I played quarterback and wide receiver. Actually, I played all positions: running back, tight end. Yeah, quarterback, wide receiver, running back.
That's why you got scouted. You were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do anything. Were you a fast runner?
Yes, I was one of the fastest on the team whenever I played. Yes.
Wow.
Until the knee injury.
Yeah. Then you went into judo and karate or something?
Actually, Chinese kung fu.
Kung fu. So you did that.
Yeah, kung fu.
Yeah, Roxy grew up salivating over kung fu movies.
Yeah.
Well, I did too.
That was my fantasy.
Yes.
Fantasy.
To be in a kung fu convent.
Yeah.
Wow. Kung fu, a nun, a convent of kung fu nuns. Yes, that would be the ultimate religion. Well, now you're doing mental kung fu right here with me.
Yeah.
And
actually, the art that I learned was developed by a nun. Legend that had.
Really?
Yes.
A kung fu developed by a nun?
Yes. Yes.
That's unique.
Wow.
Yes, it is. It is.
Was she tough? Like, what was her problem?
Well, the art. I mean, the art is tough. It was. It's called Wing Chun. Wing Chun Kung Fu, and it's a offspring of the Shaolin Temple, and legend has it that a nun created it and trained a young girl named Wing Chun. And it's an art based on angles and lines of the body. It's not based on muscle. It's based on body alignment. Wow. Bone structure.
Wow. My Chinese teacher of acupuncture and herbal medicine was in her Shaolin. He told me he had a female, whatever.
Teacher.
When I was like 70 years old, I had migraines, and I went to a acupuncturist.
Okay, we're not hearing what you're saying, Roxy.
Yes, when I was like 17, I had migraines.
Now, so hold it right there. Where is that mic? See, now you're clear.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I went to an acupuncturist, and he...
You went to where?
China.
Bert drowned you out. Where'd you go?
She had migraines, and she went somewhere.
To a Chinese doctor, acupuncturist.
Acupuncturist,
okay. Acupuncture.
And he told me in China they're trained also in martial arts, I think Tai Chi. Not only because they have to learn these circuits of energy in the body. And so a way of learning that is by learning the martial arts. So that's part of their training as doctors.
In China.
Yeah.
And then when they westernized it, they just sort of did a little bit of herbs, a little bit of acupuncture, and they left out the diet and all the martial arts, the massage. There were all kinds of things that they used together.
They Taco Bell'd it, to quote Frank.
They did.
They gave us a Taco Bell cheap version.
Yes.
You said you went to an acupuncturist and he told you this. You didn't learn it.
No, because he also had like Tai Chi school.
Yeah, fix your mic. Come on, keep the mic fucking on there, right close, and yet talk loud.
Yes, and he said that was part of the training. Like they have to train. Like they have levels, and one of the...
To learn the ley lines of the body, you had to learn how to do Tai Chi and Kung Fu.
Yeah, first they learn the martial arts, and then they learn how to heal them. But it's also part of the training because of when the warriors they had to be healed. So they sort of developed those traditions.
Yeah, did they they could self-heal themselves? They could self-heal themselves if they got hurt?
Yeah, I think to a certain extent they used acupressure and something called Do-in or something where you sort of pummel your body along the meridians.
Yeah.
Is that what's called, Bert? Do-in? Yeah.
Yes, Dao-yin. Yeah,
and then,
they put pressure on the points.
Yeah.
Hit themselves or a certain apparatus.
What, Roxy?
Ways of hitting people. For example, you hit somebody, there is a point in the arm and under the nose.
Yeah.
You hit them there like they know how to. After 2 hours, they die.
Right.
What do you mean, right? What do you know?
I heard about that. Someone told me that. I think it was Reinhard Gehlen, the head of Hitler's Nazi front.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they know, or they paralyze people.
Right, I've heard of that kind of stuff.
I want to learn that,
Yes. So I think what we'll do is play some music. I'm going to hang up and go on another phone. Maybe it's my phone. And call you back so we can do the Ben Watson with proper volume, because this is not good.
We can open our heads.
I don't even know what you said.
We can open our head.
Open our head. All right. Let's see. What do I have to do?
With a kung fu hit.
Yes. Okay, so I got to hang up and
put some music on first.
Yeah, sorry about that, but I hope this.
Don't put me on mute. I'll mute.
Don't put Bert on mute. I'm going to put you on mute. And other people know I won't remember, so it's your job, Carolyn, to remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I hang up too?
What'd you say, Roxy?
Should
she hang up?
Yes, we're going to reconnect with you. We're going to try the other phone and see how it goes. Okay, so we mute Bert, find some music to play. What would be good? It seemed to have ended just as we came over. Now we must remember to unmute Bert. Oh, look, even the whole thing that went down. Just a minute, Bert. Okay, Bert. Okay, Bert, you there?
Yes.
You know, well, my turbo bridge disconnected, but you didn't get disconnected. You heard the music, right? And it suddenly ended.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes.
So, say hello to Bert. Talk about the waitress, Roxy, and see if it sounds louder. How's this sound, Bert?
No, I was thinking about the open your head.
Right, don't go into that. See how good she sounds now, Bert? To me,
yes.
It's better.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, it's better.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, more clear, Roxy. So maybe it's because of this old phone.
No, she taped the microphone to her mouth. Right?
No, she didn't. This phone makes it better.
I think I have the same.
As the what?
Posture.
Posture.
I have the same posture.
As what? As before? Yes, but it does seem my phone. I don't know what it is. My phone maybe.
I wasn't looking back.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the article. You got the article, Bert?
Yes, I do, Bob.
Okay. So this is the journal called Radical Philosophy, which is a philosophical journal of the independent left. And Ben Watson, in the July-August issue for 2016, did a review of Zappa's last album, called Dance Me This. And it's 48 minutes long, and the review is called Open Your Head. So.
Yes, and I was thinking about the Sixteen Chapel with the brain.
Yes. There
is God in your open head.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's about the hypothalamus.
Oh, that's what I wanted to ask
you. The connection of the right side of the brain to the nose.
Right. Now, Carolyn, in that rant where Ian goes through the biological chain of ascension, he says thalamus.
I know.
Is there a hypothalamus and a thalamus?
There is.
There are. What's the thalamus for?
Oh, the thalamus.
It's not for, like, the hypothalamus is a little almond thing, right? But the thalamus itself might be something different?
Oh, yeah, it's something different. I can look it up. But, yeah, if I had been either there or in on the rant, I would have corrected him.
Yeah, he said unless he does mean the thalamus.
And then he may. Okay, the thalamus is a midline symmetrical structure of two halves within the vertebra brain situated between the cerebral cortex and the midbrain. So it's a bigger structure, and the functions are the relaying of sensory and motor signals to the cerebral cortex, the regulation of consciousness, sleep, and alertness.
Okay, well, we need to ask Ian. That's important.
Right.
So he could have meant thalamus.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to start reading Ben Watson. We're going to probably go through this line by line because Ben says a lot. It's interesting what he says, and we're going to compare it to what we've been saying. So he says, starts his review in June 2015, 22 years after Frank Zappa's death in 1993, and just before dying herself, his widow, Gail Zappa, released Dance Me This, his last completed album. While he was alive, Zappa's each release So he means each release of Zappa, Zappa's each release, or Zappa's releases as they came out. While he was alive, Zappa's releases as they came out mauled, M-A-U-L-E-D, a fan's idea of good music in quotes, exposing a previous identity as partial and bigoted, trashing personal taste in order to open new vistas. So he's saying, like Zappa said through Ion, when we got Ben Watson to talk to Ion and Zappa through Ion in September 2009, Ion said that Zappa, with every performance, every album, he wanted to upset people. So Ben's saying that, right? Whatever you thought.
It's about turning the audience on.
Did you say turning the audience on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
McLuhan said he was always trying to turn the audience on, and Zappa was also being as provocative.
Well, he turned them on by turning them off.
Turn the audience on. Right.
He would turn them off because he'd always shift.
Yeah, I mean, his first album is Freak Out.
Right. You want to freak them out. But you see, he's not trying to turn them on in a pleasure center thing. He's trying to bug people. He didn't like it that that an album was popular. So he's trying to turn them off. Not turn them on, turn them off. And see if they could take it. See if they could get through it.
Yes, but Marshall McLuhan says that turning off is actually turning on the audience. You are on when you are off.
Where'd you get that? You want to quote me chapter and verse on that one. You're making this shit up, man.
No. You can see it in the video, turning the audience on, and McLuhan says,
hot and cool.
I'm turning the audience on, and he says by provoking them and all this.
Okay, you're saying that the artist, no, he doesn't turn them on, he puts them on.
He puts them on and turns them on.
That's debatable. I never heard him talking about turning on people. He says people are turned on by the electric environment, and they need to be modulated. They need to be canceled. They need to be checked. Else they just start taking drugs all the time because they want to simulate the turned on that the electric environment did to them. So, yeah, the environment turns them on, and then the artist creates an environment to help them see through the turn-on exaggeration that happens. You don't agree with that?
Well, I remember his words different, but I'll check.
Yeah, check that. Check that. Is that on the recent lecture?
Yes, on this Marshall McLuhan Salon video.
Salon video. What one's that?
Turning the audience on.
No, see, the Johns Hopkins July 77 lecture was just posted. You don't mean that recent thing. Something else.
No.
All right. But
from our videos.
Our videos? Now, you talking about the McLuhan Salon in Berlin?
Yeah.
They offer this video.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to hear that. But Ben is saying that Frank mauls the fan's idea of good music, and he's exposing the fan as partial and bigoted because they actually develop something they like. They get. I'm a blues fan. I'm a heavy metal fan. He's trying to get people out of becoming a fan of one particular kind of music. He says, trashing personal taste in order to open new vistas. You get that?
Yeah, it's like your chart.
Yes.
People get into one ideology and
exactly.
They don't read Thompson because they read LaRouche.
Right.
And they don't listen to classical because they like heavy metal. And they limit themselves to...
Right.
Why?
It's like exploring all your senses, and then when you use the word wit to define senses, you develop different wits or wisdoms or views or angles. That's way more important, I think. That's how you become.
Maybe that's like a direct neck effect. That because of the electric environment that we are all losing our identity, people try to get attached to some ideology or some music or whatever they find, some sport, to have an identity. No role.
Yeah, in my memo to Prince Charles in 87, I call that you develop your mythic stage. You attach yourself to some technology, some invention, some crowd dynamic, and you're a fanatic about it. And what they call the culture wars is people arguing over their different media that they're devoted to. The culture wars is
like
limited.
You, Zappa sabotaged himself also in a way that he never wanted to become a cult, and he called his fans the mutant zombies or something like that.
The United Mutations. United Mutations.
And you told us about this anecdote of a mega fan of Frank Zappa, and Zappa just didn't attend his
Urban Guerder.
homage.
Urban Guerder in Switzerland, 1976. That's right. He turned
just to free the guy of this obsession.
Yeah.
He was really making him a favor.
That's right. If you're even a fan of Frank, it wouldn't get you into Frank's scene, or you wouldn't get his attention. And McLuhan was the same way. He used to occasionally put down people that used his jargon in the Monday night seminar. And he would sort of say, Bob, he said to Bob Logan, remember this one, Bob, this is not appropriate. We're not doing that here. So he wanted the Monday night seminars to be a genuine exploring without anybody having their expertise dominated, including him. He didn't want his thing to dominate the free exchange of information, which is pretty neat, eh?
Yes, yes.
And yes, you every day's a new day, and he got to act it out on Monday because that was the time that was the night to come, and they'd see McLuhan not being his role-playing self. So, and I'm like that. That's right. Yeah, you can't call these people call me McLuhan. They have no clue about my LaRouchianism or the Thompson or the Croker or other stuff. Oh, there's Kim putting on her own speaker. Okay, so Ben understands this. This is good on Ben's part, right? Ben gets it.
Right.
And Ben gets it so much he's even going to probably disagree with it because he doesn't want to get identified with that idea about Frank. So it's going to be interesting how he's saying, okay, here's a new album, and I'm warning you people, not going to be what you think. If you have a certain kind of Frank you like, this is not going to happen, and Frank is going to upset your expectations and your bias. Because there were a lot of people who would say he would put down those that just like the 60s Frank, the first Mother Invention. He thought that was stupid to be just liking them. He'd done so much great stuff after that. And I didn't meet many Zappa fans who would say, like I did, I like the 80s Frank. Frank in the 80s was awesome. Many people missed that because they thought Frank was just the 60s guy. So Ben says while he was alive, Zappa, and it's good you bring in the chart because we're doing the same thing here. Ion does that. Ion is like, that's rule number one. He does not want you, he will always shift to get you out of your becoming a trend in your mind. Right, Bert?
Yes, and even with his own outerings. He's like, that's old school, that forget that.
Did you say
we've done that already?
Yeah, what did you say? His own audience, yes. So
Ian says, forget that, we're in a new situation.
Right,
so
yes.
Things don't
or they'll say, we've already done that.
Really like a dogma.
Yeah, we've said it, we discussed it, that's gone. We don't need to do it again. It got said, and that's it. Right, Roxy. Ion's doing that. while he was alive, Zappa's each release mauled a fan's idea of good music in quotes, exposing a previous identity as partial and bigoted. There's the identity crisis. A previous identity. You've made an identity out of liking some phase of Frank's work. Trashing personal taste in order to open new vistas. It's like we say, don't bring in your stupid personal opinions or what you're doing or how your toe is hurt. That's personal taste, personal shit. We're not doing that here. We're using a collective language of English to see what is evoked by bashing it about. So then it says, since his death, however, the Zappa Family Trust catalog, now he wrote this, well, right now, July, August 20th, just happened, and this month, last 2 months have seen the kids complaining about how Gail handled the Zappa Family Trust catalog. So maybe Ben's aware of that, so he knows he can talk about it. But he says, since his death, however, the Zappa Family Trust catalog of gems in quotes, from the archive, in brackets, live shows, rehearsal tapes, aborted projects, all those, has been woefully disappointing. So the catalog of what Gail called gems has not been that great, Ben admits. Don't know if he ever said that before. Lacking the CDs that have been released, lacking Zappa's perverse and pointed meddling with value. If you create value, then sabotage it. Wyndham Lewis did this. The CDs have lacked sting, precision, and polemic, often sounding merely dull because they don't have Zappa's perverse and pointed meddling with value. And that'd be pretty hard to do. Unless you have the live Frank who's available to change it. But maybe they're being too picky in what they release. They should just release all kinds of shit, because you can't know what anybody's going to like, right? They call it gems. That's their problem. They tried to find what they thought the audience would like.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yes.
Release all of it as much as possible without any values, because that way you see that you get the experience of variety of Frank, and which is what he presented. So these things sounded merely dull. And then Frank says, Ben says, they don't make you think, which is in italics, think. That's a good statement. You don't see reviewers saying that much. These fucking album didn't make me think. Usually people want to have pleasure from them, right? So that's a good statement. They don't make you think, and think in italics. Until, that is, Dance Me This, which we're reviewing. And he says, which, and then a hyphen, I can reliably inform readers of radical philosophy is bona fide Zappa. True, the cover with its charcoal of doe-eyed, mascaraed elephants is kitsch. In brackets, it would never have passed by Zappa, a relentless saboteur of mawkish collusion, M-A-U-K-I-S-H, conventional sentiment. It'd be too sentimental, these covers. But, so true, the cover with this is crap, but the 48 minutes within will pummel your musical aesthetic and make you consider afresh what is true and what is false in modern life. Well, that's a little dramatic. Go from an album that will just upset your whole world, but maybe so. So you guys are following along with your copy, right? Mm-hmm. So you see what I'm reading. So this will pummel your musical aesthetic. So when I listen, there's a lot more praising of the thing. So when I listened to it the first time, I was not impressed. It was weak. Now, maybe I didn't have a good sound system. Doing it on the computer. This was stuff that was on YouTube. I'm probably not getting the full stereo quadraphonic fucking thing that the actual Zappa product, the CD, would give you. But it sounded a little dinky. I said, what the hell is Ben talking about? But there I was going through what Frank's supposed to do, make me upset with it, right? Make me not like it.
Think and what he says, consider afresh what is true and what is false in modern life.
Yes. Have you done that lately, Bert?
Wow.
Have you considered what is true, what is false in modern life?
By listening.
Not the last 24 hours.
Zappa. Well, I think as we do this we do consider what is true and what is...
Yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we do with Ion. It's the only entertainment that's fun. I mean, other than blatant good stuff, like that song I play a lot tonight. What is it? Someday. I love that song. What?
That's again John the Revelator. What is true, what is false, behind all the veils.
Behind the veils. Check your mic. Sorry, you get a little blurry there. Now, that doesn't make me think. That just makes me happy. That's just pure pleasure. Makes me happy. Now, that's good, but you got to be able to think. Now, there's a couple of new names on the chat line. Let's just see what's going on over here. If people are thinking over here, maybe. So, www.YH says thymus and thalamus, Carolyn. Thymus is the third thing, right?
Yeah, thymus is another thing. That's down in your neck, or no, in your upper chest.
Right, and then there's thalamus, but he's missing hypothalamus. There's a hypothalamus.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So he's bringing in thymus, but that's not relevant. Mm-hmm. And then they say www.YH, putting the audience ion rather than putting the audience on. It's ion. We like that, right? We recognize.
Right.
Thinking. Then somebody called oops. OOOPS, exclamation mark, oops, and says, ion on thymus. So apparently, this is a quote from Ion, won't need T cells anymore when you are ascended. Lymphatic system affects it, and why it'll go away, because you don't need it. Because as a god, you don't need an immune system. That's true? So is the thymus part of the immune system, Carolyn?
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
So it won't need T cells, that's immune stuff, anymore when you are ascended. Lymphatic system affects it, and so the lymphatic system affects the immune system, and why it'll go away because you don't need it. Because as a god, you don't need an immune system. We actually going to do that to people? That'd be incredible, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then Oops says, Ion confirmed later it was thymus and thalamus. And then he adds, and hypothalamus. But what did Ion confirm later? That it was thymus and thalamus. You're saying that we asked...
They're all involved, yeah.
Maybe where this is quoted from.
Yeah, we might have confronted him.
Oh, okay, well, what does he say? It was thymus?
All of them are involved, I guess.
Yeah, be clear, Oops. Is Ion said that his rant included thymus, thalamus, and hypothalamus. Just say yes if that's true. Say no if that's not true.
He did, Bob, after someone questioned him. Gene questioned Ion, and Ion said hypothalamus and thalamus. He did say that, what Oops is saying.
How do you know?
I remember hearing it.
Okay, you're remembering way back then, or just last week when we were playing? Did we play much of it last week? I don't.
No, it was way back when it happened, when Ion said it. And Gene came on later and asked him about that.
Well, maybe this is Gene, because it says Bob's private session, February 11th, 2016. Played February 13th, Payday. 640, Part 1. Continues with MDMA part. Bob reviews what the acid test book says about MDMA. Is that when we did? What was that? Well, anyway. This book, LSD, Ecstasy, and the Power to Heal. We must have asked about that. Describing what MDMA does to the body, egg-shaped region at the center of the brain called the thalamus. Carolyn, isn't the hypothalamus egg-shaped, or is that too big, and the hypo is the almond?
Yeah, hypo is tinier than the thalamus.
Okay, so he's talking about the thalamus, which is sort of new stuff. We hadn't talked about the thalamus too much.
No, right.
So he does there, and he says connected to the hypothalamus, but it's in the chest bone. That's the thymus. I think he's quoting you. Hypothalamus is in the base of the brain. is a knee bone connected to the leg bone thing. The thalamus then distributes that sensory data back up to be processed by the more recent evolutionary, and goes through the process that conscious thought, or the process of thought. It cycles it. Can't make it too slowly. It cycles it. Hippocampus counts, stored as memories. It's where memories are kept, but it's not a storage. One divides input between short-term and long-term memory. Is in the back. Short-term memory is in the front. We actually should get this section and maybe excerpt it. You know what I mean? This might be worth hearing. So is this the first time, Carolyn, where he goes from the something to the hypothalamus? I mean, he's saying at the base of the brain, but the hypothalamus is in the middle of the brain, it looks like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've gone over it many times, and every time there's some little contradiction, and I don't know if we've ever gotten it perfect.
We've never got anything perfect with ion. Because ion is going to change it, and it is not what you say it is. Never. Your words don't cover it all, probably. But he is trying to show you different angles of it, so he brings in other answers. So, Oops says yes. Do you remember what I asked him? I asked him something. He goes, yes.
Yeah, and you even said, just say yes or no.
Yeah, I can't remember what the question was. Do you remember?
I think it was like, are all three, are you talking about all three, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. And then he goes, yep. Oh, did someone say no?
Yes.
Yes.
2, 4, 1 again.
What the hell? What?
Tell the phone in.
We're agreeing or disagreeing with, so I just said no.
Yeah, we should discuss.
Is it Gene?
I don't know. Now the Oops is laughing. Gene is the type of person who would use
we are like in the quantum computers.
Yeah, let's deal with that later. We're acknowledging.
Yes, no, and maybe.
Yes, yeah. You mean the fuzzy logic of the quantum computer? Is that what you just said?
Yes, all possibilities at the same time.
Right.
Do you agree? Yes, no, maybe.
Okay, so he's saying, Ben's saying, the 48 minutes within will pummel your musical aesthetic and make you consider fresh what is true and what is false in modern life. Now, I can't say it did that to me yet. Good later. I like the tuba singers. I like Goat Polo. That was pretty good, but I'm not into. That's just liking. I don't know if it's making me think. I think I've been mutated by Ion, and we're the new song. No music will make me think anymore. I think Zappa has gone below the radar.
Well, you're more into expressive music.
Yes. Well, no, I'm not. You can't say what I'm into. No categorizing possible here.
But all you're out there is.
I engage Ion. What can be more intense than that? Right? Even it does make me like all kinds of music better, but that's liking it. I'm not using music to think. I'm not using anything to make me think. Only Ion makes me think. Right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Everything else is too weak to make me think.
Well, that's what you say. What can we say?
Right. Now, fix your mic. You're getting weak again. I mean, it's strong, then I don't know why it gets weak. Apologize to the listeners for harping on this for so many hours, but okay, so then Ben says, as early as 1967, Zappa, and then in a qualifying section, garbage king of the freaks and rejects, famed for shock, obscenity, and loud guitar, took his bizarre, quote, bizarre shtick to the brink with his solo LP release, Lumpy Gravy. Yes, that was way different. And this is early 67, 68. I mean, people, what the heck is this? You know, Frank doing classical music, so to speak, even though it was not even that. It was an editing of other kinds of sounds that you didn't associate with Frank. So as early as 1967, Zappa, garbage king of the freaks and rejects, famed for shock, obscenity, and loud guitar, took his, quote, bizarre shtick to the brink with his solo LP release, Lumpy Gravy, described on the cover as, quote, a curiously inconsistent piece which started out to be a ballet but probably didn't make it. That's like Thing Is Wake, not trying to make a perfect product, knowing that it can't be perfect. 26 years later, Dance Me This is quite literally a ballet, a soundtrack composed at the request of Quebecois dance troupe La 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 Human Steps. I once saw a video of them. They throw themselves around quite violently on the stage. So Dance Me This is quite literally a ballet, a soundtrack composed at the request of Quebecois dance troupe La 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 Human Steps. It was realized on the Synclavier, a digital music editing console. Although conversant with ballet music proper, he has in brackets, Debussy's setting of an erotic poem by Mallarmé, these are all McLuhan things, Debussy's setting of an erotic poem by Mallarmé called L'après-midi d'un faune, that would be the afternoon.
L'après-midi d'un faune.
Oh, did I say it wrong? You correcting me?
Oui.
You're a French person. You can't take a slight. I'm shocking your sense of good taste.
They're always correcting me. Like,
yes.
They're French.
You get a rare chance to correct me. L'après-midi d'un faune. L'après-midi d'un faune. But it was the afternoon of a sexually aroused gas mask, or what is it? Afternoon of a fawn?
No, it's a very famous classic piece.
Yes, I know it. I know it well because Zappa satirized it. He changed to Afternoon of a sexually aroused gas mask. Look, she can even do it. Now, that's something I can't do. I'm going to play that. My favorite song. You're going to watch it.
Yes.
No, like
yes, maybe we could go listening to all these collage of things he is evoking.
Yes.
Like when you say that in my head, I start listening.
See, that's amazing. See, you got to write. It's called the right hemisphere musical. You retrieve immediately musical stuff. I retrieve dates and pictures and alphabetic fragments, right? Visual, left hemisphere stuff. Which you can't do. You can't remember names. You can't remember dates. No. And I can't remember music. You got very different minds here, or perceptions. So, what about you, Bert? What are you, somewhere in between?
I'm a cross-section of both. I'm somewhere in between. I'm a cross-section of both, depending on...
You can do both a little bit. I think I've got my first music memory is... She thought he was a man. Jeez, my throat's so fucking... my guitar broke. Someone broke the fucking amplifier. Who unplugged me?
Bob's musical debut starts with a hack.
Yeah, I'm a Sprechstimme kind of guy. I can't sing. She thought he was a man, but he was a muffin. But I can say it. I think I kind of know it. She thought he was a man, but he was a muffin. Nah, there's no timbre pitch or anything in there, is there?
He thought he was
a man. I forgot about that part.
But he was a muffin.
Right. I got that down. I'm growing, adding to my repertoire. Okay, so the talking about Zappa, Debussy's setting of an erotic poem by Mallarmé, L'après-midi d'un faune, vehicle for Nijinsky, was a recurrent motif for Zappa. So, although conversant with ballet music proper, Zappa obviously wanted to offer La 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 Human Steps something jarring, hence his sonic depiction of Wolf Harbor, the polluted river declared dead by environmental scientists in 1970, sandwiched between synclavier tracks built around vocals by Tuvan shamans. So, he offered La La Human Steps, Wolf Harbor, which we played tonight, his sonic depiction of Wolf Harbor, the polluted river declared dead in quotes by environmental scientists in 1970, it's sandwiched between synclavier tracks built around vocals by Tuvan shamans. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So he offered them that. Is that shocking that he offered them that? I guess he had never had Tuvan stuff on his music. So then Ben says, writing about Lather. Now, Lather was this 4-record thing he released in 77 and was supposed to be distributed by Warner Brothers, but he got mad at Warner Brothers, fired them, so he just went to a local LA radio station and put it out for free, just played it for anybody to tape. It's called Lather. Writing about Lather, a 4-LP set which segued orchestral music, rock blast, backstage chat, cartoon soundtracks, and music country in one delirious package, composer David Aldridge showed how all its music derived from the power chord of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. So apparently David Aldridge showed, now that would be, if this is true, that's Frank listening to the radio and then writing something down. So he heard Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love and then made all kinds of different music on it. I have not read that. Look, you can do it. For fuck's sake, man. You're a jukebox. How the hell do you do that? Yeah, we could get to play all kinds. Do Let It Bleed by the Beatles. Is there such a song? Or is that just an album cover?
Let It Be?
Yeah, is there a song? Be? Yeah, Let It Bleed. Oh, that's Rolling Stones. Yeah, Let It Be.
In times of trouble.
Yeah, that's enough. I get it. Yeah, that's good. You can do it. That sounds like Paul Garfunkel, Paul Simon's River something. What was that one? Remember that sad thing? He had a big hit? When times are tough. What was that Paul Simon thing? You remember in the 80s? Big sentimental song.
No, I don't know that.
When you're alone, when you're sad.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Bridge over troubled water.
Yeah. Did you start to do it? She doesn't even know the words. She just does the song. We got an actual musician here, folks. This is remarkable. Dance. Yeah. You got it. Are you doing it? How to do. You're doing Troubled Waters?
Yes, I don't know the text, but I think that
right.
All
right. Okay. Now do Sea Cruise. That's 250s. You don't know Sea Cruise, do you?
No.
Oh, stop it, Bob.
Oh, yeah. Let's try to stay focused here. That's right. Okay. So I wonder if that's true that Zappa took Whole Lotta Love, the power chord, and did something with it. I don't know about that. So he says, writing about Lather, David Aldridge showed how it's all music derived from the power chord of Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love. Dance Me This' musical cell is provided by recordings Zappa made of Anatolia Kular, throat singer from the Republic of Tuva in southern Siberia. Throat singer in quotes. His guttural G, the note G, I guess, his guttural G, replete with the harmonics repressed in trained voices, is expanded in Zappa's accompaniment to a full harmonic series. Is expanded in Zappa's accompaniment? What, that just means altering it digitally?
No, he's playing along as he's singing.
Okay, is expanded in Zappa's accompaniment to a full harmonic series. Who's doing the full harmonic series?
The shaman.
Okay.
Because the overtone technique is, usually when we sing we have a tone, but all notes have many harmonics.
You realize...
So many other tones.
I freaked out. I thought the time had gone by. Okay, sorry. Do it again.
Yes, when we sing, we usually say like, do, but they know how to amplify the harmonics that go with that note.
Yeah.
So you start hearing these weird sounds Like,
right.
Those are the harmonics of the bass notes.
I see. His guttural G.
The full range, the full harmonic range, they can amplify the different harmonics of the notes.
Wow. His guttural G, replete with the harmonics repressed, so in trained voice you repress all that you're talking about, is expanded in Zappa's accompaniment is expanded to a full harmonic series. So the G is
this harmonic.
Now, was that the special God note G that I am pointed out? Remember, there was something that all sacred music was based on G, I think. You remember that, Roxy?
Once she said a frequency, but I don't remember.
No, you knew, because you used to talk about it. He used to say G, one of the notes, like all the hymns.
G major.
Yeah, maybe it was G major. Oh, okay, G major. Right. So it becoming the kind of scale Bela Bartok transcribed from Transylvanian gypsies. This scale ends the album in a wild dance. That's Calculus, which we played earlier, and that's composed jointly with Todd E. Vega. I don't know how you pronounce it.
This is where I was telling you, this is not normal intonation. This is not do, re, mi, fa.
Right.
It's other scale.
This is what you could hear in the album, in the song.
Oh, so microtonality, weird.
Right. And now I won't hear that, but you did. You could hear what he's describing here, that the G was expanded to these unrepressed tonalities or harmonics. Right? That's what you could hear. This scale ends this scale transcribed from Transylvanian gypsies, becoming the kind of scale Bela Bartok transcribed. This scale ends the album in a wild dance. According to European notions of bel canto, now LaRouche goes on about bel canto. LaRouche tries to do the suppressed music, probably. He makes a big deal out of the proper hertz, is it? What do you call that? The 250, the 456?
The tuning.
The tuning
of the scales, because the Nazis changed it.
Right. What is it? 440. What's the word you're tuning of?
I think LaRouche says the right one is 438.
But what? Hertz. Okay, you say hertz, right? Hertz. The scale ends the album in a wild dance.
40.
Now, I want to tell you something, people. If you think I'm a musical fucking illiterate and you feel sorry for me, you got it wrong. Because I'm not trained and can't hear nothing, I can enjoy everything. That's why there's so much variety on my DJing, because I can't hear any of it. I don't know what I'm playing. Fuck you, it is. It's important. Important fucking thing that I can do. Well, you know, Zappa, when he was first interviewed in the New York Times back in '66, he called himself a bunch of tone-deaf musicians. He actually said that. That's right. That's why I like Frank. We understand the value of tone-deaf. We're not afflicted with knowledge like Roxana. Roxana will have likes and dislikes.
No, but actually, according to Ian, we're all tone-deaf because they're so high. We don't hear the frequency.
Well, I do, and I can't do normal human singing because it's too limited. I can sing with the alligators and the whales, but I can't sing with humans. They're all so repressed. They're all so limited. They all have likes and dislikes. I don't have fucking nothing. I'll sing it. No, I hate Indian music. I hate Native American music. That is too dull.
The whales and the dolphins.
How's this for musical comedy? Is anybody going to learn anything from this? Would this confuse a kid in high school, Carol, if they were trying to learn something about music from us? Bob's trying to celebrate his tone deaf. This is a new angle, eh? I can't hear nothing. Therefore, I can grok the non-physical. I'm a non-physical music consumer. There's no physics involved.
That goes back to your explanation earlier about that you saw the president. That's why Ion came forth to talk to you, because you
I couldn't perceive any of it, so I saw through it all. That's what I always say. Bob doesn't know nothing. He can't see anything. He can't perceive, but he's really tuned in. That's because the
Flores said we listen with all the body.
Yes, all the bodies. That's why.
And actually, I think we are not even human. We're like something when we're in the uterus.
When we're in the booters, what was that word? When we're in the what?
The fetus. The fetus is not even like a human fetus.
No, what's she saying? The cycles?
I don't hear it either.
No, the fetus.
Coitus.
No, fetus.
Edbus. What's that?
Fetus.
You don't even say the letters correctly. F-U-T. You mean T? You feed it? Oh, we're in the fetus. F-E-T.
Yeah.
I got to start learning the way you say letters. That's funny.
It's not even form. It's something like ganglia. And this thing already reacts to sound, to the voice of the mother or whatever. And the last thing that turns off is their hearing when somebody transitions. Many that come back from the dead, they say they could still hear what was going on.
Oh, you're saying they said the opposite.
I'm not dead, but they're died or they already.
Are you saying that when you're dying, your hearing is the last to go? Is that what you just said?
To disconnect, and also when we start.
Wait, come on now. Let's get it clear what you're saying. When you die, the last thing to go is your hearing. Are you saying that?
Yes.
Okay, and then when you're born, what happens when you're born?
We're not even like human. We're something like a ganglia, like something.
Dangling ganglia.
And this creature already reacts to sound, to the voice of the mother. Like the mother speaks and you see this thing moves.
Wow. Hey, listen, I screwed up. You got to go at 20 to 8?
No, at 8:40.
Oh, good. That's 20 to 9. Good. Because I thought we were coming up. We still have an hour. So what did you say that the kid responds to music in the fetus, and that's impossible because they don't know any cultural conditioning of music? What was that? What was your point?
Well, that we just listen. Like Pauline Oliver says, your whole body is listening, not only your ears.
Right.
So you say you are tone deaf, but it's not true.
Yeah, I'm living ahead of myself. My chemical body is a dangling gangly, useless. I'm living ahead in another dimension. Now that reminds us, that woman who lives ahead of everybody in the universe, we haven't heard from her. She calls about once a year. It's about time to hear from her. If she's listening, it's about time to call in. Ruth, I think her name is. You remember her? The one who
Ruth
lives ahead of everybody, or something like that. And a weird thing. So I get what you're saying, Roxy. My alibi is I am not here. Beefheart said I'm not here. I just hang around for my friends. Well, I hang around ahead of everybody. I'm a little ahead of reality. I don't know if it's as much as Ruth, and that's what's responding to the music. So maybe that's what if I'm doing. It's like you editing, Roxy. You're actually ahead of yourself, and your non-physical or something is gathering this stuff and knows what it's going to do. But from your chemical body perspective, you think you're a step behind and something's guiding you.
Mm-hmm.
That's how but it's you doing it, but you're ahead of yourself. You're ahead of what you know.
I think it's Camille and Alfonso.
Yeah, you like to think it's ghosts. It may be, but it also could be that you're ahead of yourself. So it's not your chemical self doing it. Just like my living is not done by my chemical body. That's why, you can't ask, do I see anything? Do I hear, rather mute, deaf, and dumb I appear to be on the chemical body level. Right, Bert? Am I with you?
No, I wouldn't say that, Bob. Yeah, I'm with you.
I know, because I live ahead of myself. I'm tuned in.
Because also to be a great, how do you say, conversator?
Yeah.
Okay. You need to really listen.
Right.
Yes.
And I am doing
Yes.
that. I'm listening ahead of myself. I'm listening ahead of you. Okay, enough about you guys. Let's go back to me. All right. According to European notions of bel canto, and LaRouche is all about that, Coular's throat singing is ugly. Ugly in quotes. But acolytes of Howling Wolf, Captain Beefheart, and Etta James, and flamenco and Rai vocalists, R-A-I. Do you guys know what that is? R-A-I vocalists?
No, I don't.
It's maybe some type of Arab singing?
Arab singing will relish its intense physicality. So according to European notions of bel canto, so Ben knows some basic musical traditional knowledge. According to European notions of bel canto, Coular's throat singing is ugly, but acolytes of Howlin' Wolf, Captain Beefheart, and Etta James, and flamenco and Rai vocalists will relish its intense physicality. As Roland Barthes put it, Coular is all grain. Now that would be textures and tactility. That sounds like tactility to me. They're tactile singing. They've got no effect of writing or tuning the eye in and having the eye suppress the full range. Because full tactile range would include all times, and past, present, and future. All grains. Right? You guys with me on this? It's all grain.
Yes.
It's all texture. Because part of tactility is rubbing, contrast, up against bounding lines. The kind of confrontational. So that's a good sentence. And then Anatoly Coular, this guy, and his buddies, Kegel Ul Kovalig and Conger Al Andar, so three people, were recorded by Zappa at his home studio in 1993, taking part in a, quote, world jam, unquote, filmed by the BBC with Paddy Maloney of the Chieftains, Indian violinist Al Shankar, drummer Terry Bozzio, and Johnny Guitar Watson. A world jam. At the time, the two-band vocal trio were the darlings of the global rock aristocracy, also making an appearance on Chill Out by the KLF. Their vocals are arresting, sounding to first-time listeners like nothing on earth. One guessed some digital device, but none was required. There was no digitizing. One guessed some digital device, but none was required. The Tuvan trio opens Dance Me This. So, to the degree it's using and knowing, Frank understands what they offer, then that's a new musical experience he's offering, right?
Yeah.
You know, the Tuvan adds something to what he already can do. It's unique to put the Tuvans in with him. So that is, I guess that's, you know, if you're expecting a guitar solo and this and that, this album's not going to give it to you. Okay, we okay?
Yes, and
Yes.
I suppose if you never heard overtone singing, you may think that's a synthesizer or some type of device, like he says, some digital device, but it's human-produced.
Yeah, and you can hear it in the songs. You can hear the human
Yes,
body.
in what you play,
Yeah.
there was this very high pitch, like one can think it's like a flute or something, but it's voice.
Okay. Fix your mic a little bit, please.
Yeah. Okay.
And speak a little louder. Okay, the next paragraph. Zappa indicated ecological concern. Now, isn't that interesting? Oh, he means, I'm talking about media calls. He's talking about pollution. Zappa indicated ecological concern in his oeuvre as early as 1969, titling a guitar. What? No, not coming through. Oeuvre?
Ovid.
Love.
No. Are you saying oeuvre?
No, it's not oeuvre, it's oeuvre.
Oeuvre. Okay, all right. That's the problem with you guys with good ears. You notice that we're mispronouncing everything.
I'm just revenging, finally.
Revenge, you have something to correct me. Okay. I can take it like a woman.
No, I'm just joking.
No, that's all right. Oh, that's good. It's there. There's a little tension in there. Zappa indicated ecological concern in his oeuvre as early as 1969, titling a guitar improvisation, quote, 9 types of industrial pollution, unquote. Now, we're supposed to play
We have to listen to that.
Yes. All right, let's bring that up. I did put that in last week.
These are the 9 thunders, I say.
All 9? Or the 9th?
Yeah, 9 thunders.
All 9.
Industrial pollution is...
Right. Oh, I see what you
thunder.
mean. Yeah, the 9 thunders. Yeah. Okay. 9 thunders. Scaling down. Looking for
Yes,
it.
because that I cannot sing for you.
Really? Do you know it? Have you listened to it enough?
Well, when you play it, you can see why.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. You want to be... Oops says, Ian confirmed that they were referring to all 3. And the... Bert.
That was heavy. That was rich. That was rich.
What the fuck was that? When I got that album in 69, I'm looking for guitar and doo-wop. And me and Steve are listening to it. What the fuck is this shit, man? Like, come on. What's the point? It was all very odd.
Yeah.
Now I like it. Yeah, years of listening to the crap, I fucking got used to it. Now it's an oldie but goodie for Bob. But I remember thinking, well, that was a waste of album space. Where's the fucking guitar? I was into ecstatic guitar shit and doo-wop, man. Why would Frank put this nonsense in my ears? So, but it does sound like his Saint Clavier kind of stuff. It's like he knew.
Yes, because he wanted to explore that speed and more complex rhythms and all this, so he had to go into technology.
I think he's a tone-deaf composer. And I don't think he heard what he was making. Back then, I think that wasn't Frank. I yelled at him one time. He was coming out of a concert. I said, we love your music even if you don't. And he looked back like, what the fuck is Bob saying? But that was pretty interesting in light of what happened later, eh? It's no one would even listen to that back then. Who'd waste their time listening to that?
Yes, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking.
Nobody would.
This didn't go for good. Nobody, yeah.
But now it's more understandable. I think a lot of younger kids who are used to acoustic chaos could take it.
Yes, but I was telling you that I was listening to a musicologist of France talking about Baroque music, and the reaction of people was the same. They thought it was too much, at the same time, too much.
Right. You're talking 400 years ago, Baroque music, 400, 1600.
Yeah. Yes, so it's the thing with art expands what we think is beautiful, nice, and what we can digest.
Yeah,
and
digesting is the key. He's back.
Yeah.
You know, the artist craves sensory experience, that you say, whatever sense they're specialized in. So Zappa craved what was actually happening in the music environment. It was like that in terms of all the variety of music that was available on the airwaves in the 60s. He would want more, and it would have to be like that. It would have to be like crazy stuff to satisfy what he was looking for. Like he had a
one
huge
thing I've learned
appetite.
From you is not only the originality of the artist that makes somebody do crazy stuff just to be original. It's really the technology, the environment causing an effect on perception. And
yeah. He's actually responding to the beginning of the Android meme, because the amount of data that's coming at people in all their different technologies, if you wanted to put it in order, that's what it would sound like. That's actually what you're going through.
It's like faxing. Like the sound of the fax.
The sound of the fax. Yeah, all the sound, all the noise pollution. That's what Thompson characterizes the Pacific phase. He calls it first the Pacific space, and he calls it biospheric, the planetary level. He says it's characterized by noise and pollution, or noise pollution. Zappa's actually taking the chaotic experience of the ear and trying to put order to it. And it is so chaotic that what we just heard, is order.
Yeah.
Like you heard a couple of silly things in there. What is that? I don't know. Like someone just playing something, repeating a couple of notes, irritatingly, like a kid would do. That's right in the middle of it. You know what I mean? The retarded part. But that's part of your experience, because if you're driving around L.A. in a car, you're seeing the same environments all the time, and I think, they're just doing that every day. And musically translates it. This is what Barry Miles says. You can understand Zappa's acoustic preferences if you understand L.A. car culture. Los Angeles, the sensory experience in the car, whizzing along the highways or going into suburbs. Look at that. Oops says non-physical. Sarah says, thanks for posting the link earlier. Then she says, limbically speaking, I'm a big fan of the amygdala. Limbic system, limbically speaking, I'm a big fan of the amygdala. Okay, so that was fun to play that. And that's 40 years ago, guys. 40 years ago.
Wow.
And so what is Ben, why is he bringing that up? Just that Zappa was into ecology.
This is very, the ecological concern.
Yeah.
The media and ecological concern. The idea that we can program nature, the landscapes, the galaxies.
Right. Hey, I'll tell you my big insight this week. When McLuhan said the satellite turned the planet into an art form, nature, the planet became the content of the satellite environment. So the idea of ecology, fixing up nature's polluted, it's like an art form that needs to be repaired, comes in with the satellite environment. And most people see that's the last effect in McLuhan's world. The last turning the previous environment into an art
prophecy.
Yeah, the last prophecy. Right. Well, I realized listening to this Johns Hopkins recording from July 1977, where McLuhan says, a few people have gotten the idea that maybe you could, he says, it has occurred to a few people that maybe you could orchestrate the media environments in a kind of harmony. And I said, look at that. He's talking about media ecology as if it's what people are picking up. Not talking about himself inventing the idea. He's saying it occurs to people. So the new environment makes people think, we can modulate media environments. Well, that's the final stage of McLuhan's There was a stage after the planet turned the satellite turned the planet into an art form. It's the media environments themselves.
Programming. The gods, becoming gods and programming.
No, wait.
Their kingdom.
No. The programming of media environments, which have subsumed nature and are the new nature, the programming of them is the final rearview mirror art form. This happens in the late 70s. You program nature and the Earth because of satellite. But once the satellite in the global theater starts shrinking and has all the